Well, here we are, sort of standing at the end of the Sundays in Lent. Lent isn't over yet. Lent won't be over until Maundy, Thursday. But next Sunday is a special day. It's the beginning of Holy Week. We celebrate it as Palm Sunday, when Jesus entered into Jerusalem to the shouts of Hosanna, to the praise of the people, to expectations of who Jesus is and who Jesus was and what they expect him to do when he enters Jerusalem. The beginning of one of the most, or the most holy of weeks. We're going to do that, as I mentioned. We'll start in the sunshine room and sort of commemorate wandering over into the sanctuary and begin that holiest of weeks. But here, as we wait for that Holy Week, we have this rather unusual, I think, reading from the Gospel of John, where Mary and Martha give a feast for Jesus because of what he has done for their brother Lazarus. Lazarus was dead, and because of what Jesus did, Lazarus is now back to life. He's healthy, he's eating at the table with the rest of the disciples. And out of that love and compassion, Mary does something very strange. In the midst of this celebration and joy and food and conversation, Mary comes and anoints Jesus' feet with oil and wipes them with her hair, and does a most wonderful act for Jesus. And in the midst of all of the celebration and the joy, creates dissension and creates for us lots of questions. I mean, after all, what was it that Mary thought she was doing with this oil? Was it simply that she was using something that she had purchased, perhaps even for her brother, and now out of this wonderful, joyful occasion, she decides to give it lavishly to Jesus? Or was there something more? Did Mary know what was actually going to be happening for Jesus in the next weeks, and she was taking the chance to do for him while he was still alive what normally would be done after he has died? Or did Mary just know that Jesus wasn't going to stay dead for very long? And what about Judas? Why did Judas even really care what Mary did with what was hers to do with? It was Mary's gift to give to whomever she decided she wanted to give it to. And then there are those parenthetical notes about Judas that the gospel writer of John includes that say how much Judas was a scoundrel and he stole from the money bag anyway. No wonder he wanted it sold for the money to be given to the poor so he could help himself. Was that how Judas really was? Or was that more about what the gospel writer of John thought about him? And actually, the reading leaves us with a few more questions than it does answers. But I thought this week about how we can ponder as we are on this, if you want to say, last regular Sunday of Lent, how our Lenten journey has gone. I mean, we started Ash Wednesday with the reminder of ashes on our foreheads that we are to enter into this time repenting, praying, fasting, and giving. Perhaps your Lenten journey has gone wonderfully, and all of the intentions that you have fulfilled or are about to fulfill. Or perhaps your Lenten journey sort of washed away as quickly as the ashes did from your forehead, and life sort of got in the way, and life sort of got back to normal, and on Sundays you're sort of reminded. Whatever it is that your Lenten journey has been like, this is a reminder that there are always opportunities to give. Perhaps Jesus was being a little selfish, if you will, thinking that this gift was given to him and the poor would always be with us, and that it was okay to give it to him and not worry about the poor. But I think it's more of a reminder that God calls us partly to open our hands and our hearts always to the needs of others. And that sometimes what we think we have bought for one purpose, or procured, or received, or have saved for one particular purpose, could be used for something else if a need arises or an opportunity presents itself. There are always those opportunities to give. And God is always leading us and guiding us to whatever those opportunities may be. And it doesn't matter what time of year it is.